Hi, this is Eric Broom, AP 803, Me and Action Research. So where I'm from Denver, Iowa. That's a really small town, pretty close to Cedar Falls or Waterloo, Iowa, if you know where that is. My mom's a saint for raising four boys. The amount of food we ate was insane. I graduated from Waverly Shell Rock High School. That's the picture on the bottom left, that baseball team. Then I went to Rochester Community and Technical. That's that middle baseball picture. I graduated there with my just liberal arts AA and coaching diploma. Took a year off, and then I went to UNI and graduated there with my teaching degree. After that, I joined the Air National Guard, the 115th Wing, which is in Madison, Wisconsin. So where I teach now, it's about 2.5 hours from me. And now I'm at Fort Hays, going for my administration degree and hoping to be a possible principal or assistant principal or a full-time AD. Past experiences, so I love the outdoors, backpacking and skiing. Mostly, I'm trying this summer to get more into fishing and golfing. So I was a camp during that year off between my community college and UNI. I was a Colorado camp counselor, um, about an hour and a half west of Colorado Springs. And then I went and worked at Keystone for ski patrol. Um, done a lot of coaching, baseball, football, basketball. I think that's it. And I am a big Broncos fan, so go Broncos. I know Kansas City Chiefs. I know that's a rival, but love my Broncos. Where I'm at now, so this upcoming year will be my fourth year at Eastern Valley, really small 1A school, very eastern Iowa. I'm a K through 8 PE teacher, and I'm the 7 through 12 athletic director. Like I said before, I do some coaching. And then also where I'm at right now actually is I'm at my hotel. I'm up from my base in Wisconsin, um, working on getting out and being there for protests and helping out the city. And I'm currently trying to plan some summer trips to Minnesota for fishing and Utah for backpacking. All right, so what is action research? So it's an effective way to address and cope with difficult circumstances, since it enables teachers to gain a better understanding of their classroom context and so develop more appropriate ways of teaching without waiting for solutions from outside. The four types of action research are right there, and the goal I put is to actively collect data and conduct research in effort to answer questions or solve problems within your craft teaching, and finally enhance your skills and your student success. And then there's your main steps. Action versus traditional. So traditional is very scientific. If this happens and that happens, it's very statistics and numbers, not as future oriented, I guess you might say. Then action, I put you have your goals you're going after. You're trying to solve maybe a problem. It's very applied to the teaching in the classroom, and you're involving your students, you're involving staff, you might even be involving your community. Um, and then you're always evaluating it. It's continuous, it's constantly going. Whereas traditionally, you kind of go towards maybe one thing and then it's done. And with action, you're always reflecting off of what you're doing. So kind of the same with evaluating, but at the end of it, you're probably going to reflect, change some stuff, and maybe do it again. Some problems that I found. So ensuring that the research is actually put into action. So there's obviously always going to be a lot of research, and just making sure and finding the best research and putting it into play. It can be very lengthy, so depending on what the research is or what the problem is or what you're trying to get after, it could be really long. So you got to be motivated to stay with it. You need your teachers to understand the reasoning behind it, otherwise they're going to lose that motivation. And then you need your teachers to receive guidance and leadership. So you have to have that administration behind it and really pushing for it. Then you're going to have teachers, not wanting that extra workload. So with that, you're going to want to make it meaningful. If it's not meaningful, again, they're going to lose the motivation and just not be as invested. How could it help me? So it would force me to reflect on my practice and adjust, so that constant improvement. It's also going to produce constant improvement school or district wide because a lot of action research is going to be more involvement than just myself. It's going to engage students in a really meaningful way. Um, so they if they know that we're learning together and kind of trying to figure this out together, that's going to mean a lot more to them than just me directing something at them. It's going to create goals to achieve for myself, my students, and my staff. So with that, you're going to build a much stronger environment and togetherness, and it's going to develop motivation to overcome obstacles throughout that research. Because as we learned, there's always going to be obstacles that pop up or something that you thought was going to work and it didn't, and you have to have that inspiration to fix the problem or enhance the skill or achieve that goal and push through the obstacles. My critique, so with relationships, a positive, I think by conducting action research, you're going to build really good relationships as long as it's meaningful research. You're going to be collaborating constantly. Um, it's going to all together bring each other together, especially at the end when you really see the results, and just build that safe and enjoyable environment to work and learn in. A kind of a negative thought I had was the commitment, depending on especially how long the research is or how much work it's going to take, getting that buy-in from the teachers to invest. They're not going to want the extra workload, um, but that's what I said before. We got to make it interesting and worth their time. Another positive is just the improvement. So as a leader conducting this type of research, it's going to improve me as a leader and just how to bring people together to be able to find or reach that final goal. Um, it's going to improve your teachers' abilities in their classroom in multiple ways. And then obviously it's going to improve your student success because if I'm doing everything right and improving and my teachers are improving, my students are going to take all that in. And then I have put, your community support is also going to improve because they're going to see those goals you're working towards. I personally, I just talk about how I'm in the process of conducting what I find to be action research. I'm trying to build stronger leadership in our students, so I'm going to create a student leadership program. It'd be like a once a week thing, maybe for 8 weeks, maybe for the whole semester. I don't know yet. Still in the works, but we would work on leadership traits, and honestly, it would definitely build me up as a leader. But I really want to put that within my students too, because that's just a lifelong skill. So I'm pretty excited about that. As a school, we did do a research with lack of trust because we did a survey at the beginning of the year, and it focused on staff relationships because we found that there was a lack of trust between teachers. So we took that, we did a book study at all of our professional development days, and reflected on different chapters, different parts of the book, and just constantly talked about it. Then we took a survey at the end of the semester and then saw what we learned, what changed, and then continued on the next semester. And that kind of got cut short with the virus, but hopefully we continue that goal next year. I'd be curious to see how that plays out. How does that support the success of each student and adult? So with 1.2, students will not only get a better version of their teacher, but they'll also hopefully be involved in that process and grow from that experience. Obviously, not every action research has to involve the students, but I think that's a huge part of it that would help. 4.1, adults will be a part of an improvement process by developing stronger programs and curriculum that will then give students the best possible environment to learn in. 4.2, teachers will learn how to research effectively using multiple different tools and resources, and that'll enhance the academia for students and provide them with even more useful 21st century skills. 4.3, by evaluating, reflecting, and updating these practices in our teaching and our tools, assessments, all of it, therefore those assessments are going to become way more meaningful and more effective for our student learning, and thus higher success. And lastly, 4.4, teachers and students will have more opportunity to work together, build relationships, and grow exponentially from each other to enhance their knowledge and skill set. So overall, there's the references, but overall, action research I think is huge because it's continuous, and obviously as a school leader, you're not going to reach for one goal and stop. You're going to reach for a goal, maybe hit it, maybe not, but you're going to see from that whole time of going towards that goal, you're going to find other areas that need improvement, or you're going to have conversations with other teachers and see things that need changed. Excuse me. And even if it's not a whole school research or something that's going to improve all of student learning, maybe it's just an action research project for your math teachers or your specials teachers. It could be anything. So I think it's a really good tool to use, and probably underused at most schools, but definitely something that I plan to use as a future school leader. That is all I got. Thanks for listening.